everybody. Welcome back to the 5 O'Clock Sweats podcast. As always, I'm Ryan, joined by my handsome buddy.
I'm his handsome buddy. I'm Derick.
And it's just Derick and I today. We are back to the duo, the dastardly duo.
Success. Good job.
Yes. We had one tease of a week where we had the three amigos, but we are back to the two of us. And so we're going to be sharing some things that we've been watching lately. Just going to spit some things out, what we've been watching, and we're going to talk about them. And that's going to be what we do today. So, yeah, it's going to happen whether you like it or not.
Yeah. Do you want to go first? Or you want me to go first?
I can go first. Really, I can go first. So I've got a list here of a couple things I've watched, a couple shows, a couple movies. One, I guess, it's a show technically, but it's like an internet show, I guess. I don't know, but it'll be revealed shortly.
It's the ASMR channels you listen to fall asleep.
Yeah, that's it. Dude, it works. It works.
Did I bet?
I'll endorse ASMR.
That's what you got up first.
So I'm going to talk about, let's see, the one that is not the most recent on this list, I guess, Twisters. So we'll do Twisters.
Okay, yeah.
So I saw Twisters.
Yeah, this had kind of been hyped up since the Super Bowl, right? It was just a Super Bowl commercial that out of nowhere, you're like, they're making another fucking Twisters movie? What?
I know.
Shit. I gotta see this flick.
Listen, I
have seen the flick.
I have seen the flick. I had the same, I had the same reaction when I saw the first trailer for Top Gun Maverick for the first time. It was like, oh, they're really gonna make a sequel to this movie. What are we doing?
Yeah, this movie didn't need a sequel.
No, so definitely, yeah. But listen, the shit was fire. Like Twisters was great. So I went to see this movie with my dad, and I always like seeing movies with my dad because I don't know, he doesn't go to the theater very often, and he loves watching movies, but usually stays at home to watch. So when I can get him out of the house and take him to a theater to get the full experience, it's always nice. And I was gonna say I popped his IMAX cherry, which we did. We popped his IMAX cherry. Just saying. I'm gonna say it. Listen, you can come back if you want. You don't have to walk away. For those that aren't watching, Derick has gotten up and walked away from his desk, appalled at what I just said. But come on, are you surprised that I said that?
No, I also didn't have a plan. I just unplugged my headphones and walked away.
Just walk away for a couple minutes.
I was briefly in my hallway. I'm like, wait, what the fuck am I doing?
Before I just decide to run this episode solo. Yeah.
So you saw it in IMAX.
Dude, we saw it in IMAX. It was my dad's first time seeing anything in IMAX. So, it was a treat to bring him there. And man, this movie is really good in IMAX. It was a great experience. I guess the only thing I could have done is we could have saw it in 40X, which I've heard is quite the experience because I've never done a 40X movie, but I know that they'll use like the effects that are happening in the movie and like simulate them in real life. So if there's like
it's just theater employees blowing on you.
Yeah. So they would have the wind, they'd have like the rain, so they're like throwing buckets of water at you. I have no idea how they do it. Or they have like, I don't know, like a squirt gun just in the aisle just shooting you. I kind of wanted to see it again in 40X somewhere, but I think it might be too late at this point. But yeah, we saw it in IMAX, and man, this movie looked beautiful in IMAX.
And
yeah, the special.
This was a little bit of a point in some of our last episodes. This is a remake of Twister, right?
In a way, yeah. It's more of a reimagining because the story isn't the same per se. Like there's some similarities, but there's definitely some similarities, but it's its own story. But yeah, I mean, we'll start with the obvious, like the tornadoes and like the storms. They look so damn good. Like I did rewatch the original Twister before seeing this movie, and you know, like the CGI for the time, I think it was like early 90s. It was pretty, like, it was fine. There were some moments that haven't aged well, I'll say that.
96.
Yeah, so yeah, mid 90s. But the overall, the tornadoes in the original Twister looked very good for the time, and they've aged moderately well.
Or is it 89? What is this 96 one I'm seeing? Surely that's the one. Yes,
that is the one. Oh yeah, that's the one. Yeah, Glen Powell. Yeah, that's it.
And there's just a random, also 1989 one.
Are you saying Twister? Anyway. Twister ripped off Twister. the 1989 masterpiece that I've never heard of. Yeah, so Twisters, the tornadoes looked incredible. The CGI was fantastic. It didn't look like any of the recent Marvel movies. You know, it looked very seamless with like the environment, and the scenes where there were tornadoes were very exciting. The stakes felt high. Like the characters felt like they were in actual danger. Mm-hmm. And yeah, so they nailed that aspect of it. The aesthetics, the special effects were all top notch. They looked great, especially on the IMAX screen. But what I was most impressed with was the performances. I mean, Glen Powell is like a rising star. That guy's really good.
Again, gotta put my hand up on this one. No idea who this cat is.
It's okay. There's some movies that he's done recently you should watch. He did Hitman on Netflix, which was really good. It's like a rom-com spy movie. And he was
Dark
in
Knight Rises.
Yes, he was a minor role, but he's like blowing up now. The last couple of years, he was in Top Gun Maverick.
Oh, Spy Kids 3D.
Duh.
Might be where I know him from. Yeah. And he played the other little ass kid, right? Yeah, I'm pretty sure.
Yeah.
Anyway,
I guess not that familiar with his filmography.
Can you tell I don't know anything about Twisters, or Glen Powell?
It's okay.
I don't know anything about anything.
So at the core of each movie is a romance between the two leads.
I thought you were going to say between the two Twisters.
Between the two Twisters, they are madly in love with each other. They just want to be together. But these damn humans keep trying to keep that from happening. So you're actually rooting for the tornadoes because you want them to live happily ever after.
But how are the humans stopping them from loving each other?
While they're destroying Oklahoma. Yeah, so Glen Powell, complete rock star. Like, he played this role very well. Like, he is introduced as like this jock, sort of asshole, pretentious, cocky bro dude. In this movie, he has, or in this, so his character in this movie has a YouTube channel that basically is just him wrangling. He's a tornado wrangler. That's what he calls himself in the movie. So he'll like go into these tornadoes. He has like spikes in his truck that drill into the ground, so Twister can't pick him up. He goes like into the tornadoes and like shoots flares and fireworks up in them. It's actually
to give the Twister a flat tire. I'm like, what are spikes gonna do?
Dude,
spikes for him. Glen Powell.
Yeah, so they don't die.
Glen Powell have own spike for not blow away.
Yes, he does not. He drives into these Twisters. He doesn't want to get pulled up into them and spun around and killed. He wants to drill himself into the ground so he can shoot flares and fireworks up into the tornado, which is like fucking sick in theory. Like, what a crazy but like cool concept. Like, I could totally see someone doing that in real life.
Oh, absolutely.
Like, I could totally see that.
I'm not here to debunk anything or poke holes in this documentary, but what were the fireworks meant to do once he just shot them up in there?
They were just meant to look cool, just for aesthetic purposes.
Okay, sick.
Yeah, they go up and they get spun around and they go off, and yeah, that's it. It's all for to please his audience, because they want him to wrangle those tornadoes.
I wasn't expecting the legitimate answer to be just cause.
That's it. I mean, he just does it for the views. He's got millions of subscribers on his YouTube channel, so he's got a large audience to impress. So that's his character, but in kind of movie trope fashion, there's more than meets the eye to his character, and
Transformers.
Yeah, he's like Shrek basically. He's an ogre. He's an onion. He's got layers. You got to peel back to get to that juicy center.
Somebody once told me the storm was gonna blow me. I have a couple spikes in my shed.
I think you should have ended it at blow me.
Yeah, I don't know.
That's as far as
I
it
was
could
already
have
kind
went.
of committed to it.
That was pretty good, actually.
Yeah, thanks, man.
So there's the co-lead in this movie is her name's Daisy Edgar Jones, who I'm not familiar with, but I'm very familiar with her now after this movie. She was great. Probably my newest Hollywood crush, if I'm being honest.
I'm an idiot. I looked her up and I'm like, what else is she in? Oh, she was in Twisters. I'm like, yeah, dude, that's the shit we're talking about.
She is in other stuff, and I just didn't recognize really any of it. So, but yeah, she was great in the movie. She plays a girl that has a tragic past, which they showcase in the beginning of the movie, and it was a really good scene. But you kind of get everything you need to know about her in that first 10 minutes. But then when she meets Glenn Powell's character, that's kind of when Glenn Powell's character starts to open up a bit, and you learn more about him. He's not he's not the person you perceive him to be on the surface. He's got a warm heart and all that good stuff, and they hit it off. And their chemistry was fantastic. They did a great job. It was a very believable relationship, the way why they connected. They both Glenn Powell. She learns that Glenn Powell has an obsession with meteorology. He went to school for meteorology, which is what she did. So she's like, oh, he's more than just this dumb tornado wrangler that shoots fireworks into Twisters.
Firework shooter.
There's more. He's more than that. Oh, he's also hot.
This hot guy that shoots fireworks at storms.
He drives into the center of a tornado, drills himself into the ground, and shoots fireworks up the shaft of the tornado.
Oh, the fireworks are coming from inside the house.
Yeah. So anyway, Twisters was really enjoyable. The performances were great. Also, shout out to Anthony Ramos, who I only know from Hamilton. He played Hamilton's son and another character as well. And Kierman Shipka, who was in Longlegs, who I couldn't remember the name of in that episode I did with Chris. And she shows up in this movie in the beginning. And I only know her really from Mad Men. She's the daughter. She's Don Draper's daughter in Mad Men. But yeah, she makes a cameo too, and that was pretty cool. So Twisters was a great time. It was surprisingly great, for what it was, for a disaster movie. It's it's up there for sure. Perfect Storm, Day After Tomorrow, Godzilla '98, and then Twisters is right there. So yeah, a movie that surprised me, and it did really well at the box office too. So it actually had financial success, which is great. So I'm very happy for all of them, all that crew, the entire crew, and we'll see if they make more. I don't know. They could make more. Who knows? It could become a legitimate franchise.
Wow.
But who knows? Anything's possible.
If they do make a trilogy of Twisters movies. You gotta watch them though, right?
Oh yeah, gotta watch the whole thing.
Oh,
I just don't know what the titles are going to be because they've already added an S. More Twisters, and then even more Twisters is the third one.
Even more Twisters,
more and then even more
Twisters, more Twisters, and even more Twisters would go hard.
I think that's actually. I mean, it's goofy and like Sci-Fi Channel goofy, but I think it could work.
Yeah, I think so too. For exactly the kind of movie it is. Well, exactly. If it was more towards the Sharknado end of things,
my God! Wait,
but
Collaboration. we could have a crossover movie.
Schwisters.
Dude, Glenn Powell just shooting fireworks at sharks.
The sharks are shooting lasers right back at him.
And then Tara Reid shows up and she's like, hey guys, remember me from American Pie?
Well, who's going to complain about that?
Dude, I think that's what the people want.
Yeah.
We got to pitch this to Hollywood right now.
Well, it's in their court. This episode now it's on the internet. It's on the internet for Hollywood to find and
that's true.
Pay us.
Yeah,
I think that's how that works. At least
we just need that algorithm to help a little bit.
Stupid algorithm. Speaking of algorithm, I spoke on a previous episode that I'm just like highly influenceable, and
yes,
like I think I brought up the community subway thing. I want like a level 5 impressionable or whatever. Like, recommend something to me, I'm probably going to be like, oh, this is going to be awesome. I'm totally going to watch that. Yeah, kind of comes back to bite you a little bit. Well, a couple months ago, there was a TikTok that came up imploring me to watch The Last Stop in Yuma County. And I don't think I talked about this. If I did.
No, I don't. Yeah. Doesn't ring a bell at all. No bells are ringing off. No bells.
Yeah, it's tough because I know that I've talked to you specifically about it because I'm like, hey, I just watched this movie. You're like, oh, yeah, it sounds familiar. I think that was about it.
Elaborate.
Yeah, so this is one that TikTok's like, y'all, you gotta watch this movie. And I'm like, I gotta watch this movie. So I watched it. I think it was like 90, 100 minutes, like hour and a half-ish. It was a nice little thriller. So it's all set in like this roadside, like diner and gas station kind of complex. And okay. I think it's in the 70s. That feels right. It's been a while since I watched it. A guy pulls up to a gas station and he looks like a casual Jimmy Carr who already looks like a business casual Roger Federer. And
wow.
This boy is selling knives.
Yeah. Okay. He's a knife salesman. Yeah. Selling some fine cutlery.
And he needs gas. He needs gas bad because his car doesn't have it. He pulls up to the gas station. The guy's like, this is like the last stop for 100 miles. And we're actually out of gas. Like, we're waiting for the gas truck to come here to fill up the gas to put into the cars for gas. And truck is coming soon. Truck was on its way earlier. Truck not here, so truck be here soon. You can go wait in the diner next door. And so Mr. Knife Salesman, not Jimmy Carr, not Roger Federer, goes in to go wait for the gas truck to show up. And just a bunch of people start showing up to this diner. Like, the waitress is already there. She's married to the sheriff who drops her off at work. There's a pair of unsavory looking individuals that enter. There's like a normal ass old couple that enters. There's this like, oh shoot, what did I call them? Free spirited youths.
Okay.
Free spirited youths show
in
up
the 70s. Okay, I can picture it.
Yeah, and this whole time, like there's some shit going down in this diner, and like it's super tense. Only because like the people that show up are also trying to get the fuck out of this town, and also need gas, and also can't get gas because gas truck not there. Gas truck need fill up gas for car fill up gas, and nobody has gas for fill up car. Nobody.
Sounds like a problem.
Yeah,
sounds like a problem.
It's like a situation where there's like a bank robbery. There's people just shooting cans with guns on the side of the road, and like all of these people that have just random stories end up in this diner, and it's like anything could fucking happen.
So I'm already getting like last arc of Pulp Fiction vibes, like the third act of Pulp Fiction, like the whole diner scene there. I'm getting that kind of vibe from what you're saying already.
Interestingly, I I just today watched Reservoir Dogs, and the very beginning of that movie reminds me of The Last Stop in Yuma County.
Man, I love that movie.
Yeah, okay. So maybe this is one that we watch together. I mean, it's a pretty easy watch, but something that the algorithm brought to my plate, and I ate it up wholesale.
So what happened? I'm like on the edge of my seat now. Like, or are you not going to go into spoilers?
With the plot.
So they're just like waiting in the diner for the gas.
Yeah, essentially. Well, okay. So the two unsavory individuals are two individuals who just robbed a bank, and they're trying to leave, but obviously they don't have gas, so they can't.
Yeah.
So then there's just two bank robbers with guns and knives sitting in this diner, holding people hostage, basically. And it's like, all right, well, he's a knife salesman, so he has knives, but he's sitting at the other end of the diner, like he's not going to beat a gun, so he just has to sit there. And then this old couple comes in, and you're like, all right, random old couple, this is safe. They've got guns too. And you're like, what the fuck? And these free-spirited youths find a gun or whatever the fuck. They're shooting cans on the side of the road, and then they need to leave too. They show up in this diner, so a bunch of fucking people just have guns in this diner and no gas. And there's a lot of money somewhere. People just robbed a bank for it. Like, there's just a bunch of compounding situations that all just kind of meet in the middle of the movie. And then there's 45 more minutes of movie to watch after that.
I'm intrigued. This sounds very Tarantino. Sounds very like Hitchcockian. I like it. It's like a single location. You kind of feel a little claustrophobic, probably.
Yeah.
Like
so I think maybe this one's one that we watch. I guess maybe the next time we see each other. I don't know when I'll see you next, but maybe that's a candidate.
It'll be sooner than later. Man, that sounds good.
Yeah, it's one of the movies that I watch. Want to throw it back to you?
Yeah. All right, so I'll name another movie. And I just watched this one. I just saw this one last week. I saw the new M. Night Shyamalan movie, Trap.
Shyamalan. I feel like I saw posters for this, but
it got a decent amount of marketing. I'm pretty sure it had a Super Bowl commercial as well. But yeah, so the trailer was very intriguing to me.
It's the local theater by me had it on their website. That's where I saw it. I was just randomly looking for, like, on Friday or Saturday. I was like, I wonder what they're playing at the theater. So that just like popped up. I'm like, oh, yep, there it is. I remember now. Yeah.
So the trailer for this movie was very intriguing. And then obviously, anytime M. Night Shyamalan's name is attached to any movie, it's like, okay, I'm intrigued. Even though I would say most of his movies recently have been misses, more misses than hits over the last few years. But I still got to give him a fair shake because it's M. Night Shyamalan, and the potential's in there. It's like he can make a masterpiece. He can make a great all-time movie.
Yeah,
it's in there. He just has to do it.
But I didn't just got to get it out, squish it out of him.
Yeah, we got to squish it out of him. So I went into this movie not with high expectations, but hope. I was hopeful. And I got to say, for the first hour of this movie, I'm like, damn, M. Night's back, baby. He's back.
He is so back. Yeah,
he's so back. This movie is tense. It's shot incredibly well. It's it's a thriller. It's a mystery. The cool thing. So I guess I'll give you the general synopsis really quick. So basically, Trap is a thriller/mystery movie followed entirely in the POV of a serial killer.
Mm-hmm.
And the serial killer.
When you say POV, is it like first person POV?
Sorry,
or
it's just the movie. He is the protagonist.
Because in my mind, I'm like, they could be doing like a Birdman, but in POV,
Yeah.
Like that could have been sick, but okay, yeah.
Like handheld. yeah, so it's
that would probably be pretty gnarly if they did
that would be really gnarly.
First person POV of a serial killer for 2 hours. That might be
directed by M. Night Shyamalan.
Yeah, that might be borderline.
the twist and the twist at the end, he turns the camera around and it's M. Night Shyamalan. Like, whoa,
it was me all along.
Yeah, so that you knew all that from the trailer. Like, this movie is about a guy who takes his daughter to a concert, and we'll just say that the person they're seeing is like the movie's version of like Taylor Swift. Like, she's huge, big star. And then he notices there's like a large police presence at this concert, and you're like, oh, why is he like, why is he so worried about the police? Like, maybe it's because he has his daughter, and he's like, oh, worried for her safety. So he's going around like asking people like, oh, what's with the police? And they're like, oh, the police got a tip that the butcher, and they call him he's the butcher in the movie. He's killed like 12 people.
Ooh, fuck.
And like, yeah, like he's going to be at this. There's a tip that he's going to be at this show today, and the police are going to trap him. It's a trap, and they're going to get him. And then you come to find that our main protagonist is the butcher.
Whoa!
Crazy.
I didn't see that one coming.
Crazy. If you saw the trailer, you knew it was coming.
For first 10 minutes.
Yeah, basically. So from that moment on, it's like, oh, you're in his head, and you're kind of rooting for him to get out because Josh Hartnett, who plays the main guy, the serial killer, he is excellent in this movie. He is so good. He just plays like, well, at first he's like, oh, this likable dad that he just wants to take his daughter to a show and make sure she has the day of her life. Obviously, you come to find that he is not that guy. He's he's
maybe not the sterling father figure.
No, you believe he's a fucking psychopath. But the way that Josh Hartnett plays it is great. And I actually think that M. Night Shyamalan's writing, especially his dialogue, which has always been the point of contention with him, like he doesn't really write dialogue that feels organic or real. The way that Josh Hartnett delivers his lines, like is purposefully like robotic, kind of like in an NPC way, and he sells it. He covers up. I mean, it is M. Night Shyamalan's writing, but it's also the way that this character should be saying things, because he's a fucking psychopath and he doesn't know how to show emotion. So he is just delivering these lines in like a very robotic way. Like, yeah,
that's cool.
He did a great job. Yeah. And the performer that they're seeing, like the singer, fun fact, it's actually M. Night Shyamalan's daughter. And she's actually singing in the movie, and she's performing original songs that she wrote herself.
Oh, hell yeah. Good job.
Dude, she actually sounded really good. So that was pretty cool.
Didn't she just direct something too?
I don't know. Maybe.
That feels right.
I didn't even know anything about her. I didn't know she was an artist. I didn't know she was a musician or anything. But she's in the movie. She sounds great. Unfortunately, it's the second half, or I guess more of like the first hour 10 is really good. Once they leave the venue, though, the concert venue, it's when shit kind of gets off the rails a little bit. It's that's when you start to really kind of see the cracks in the armor a little bit, like some of M. Night Shyamalan's, some of his bad traits when it comes to directing kind of show themselves, and it kind of gets a little sloppy in the third act. But I still had fun with it, and I think overall it was a positive experience. Like, it was good. If it was shorter, if it was like 15 minutes shorter, and I don't know, if they didn't leave the concert venue so early, then it could have been a lot better. But yeah, definitely not the worst movie he's made recently, but definitely nowhere near.
What is the worst movie he's made recently?
Oh man, I
fire shot, dude. Do it.
Old was not good. Old, which was the film where people are on a beach and they age as they're on the beach. The longer they stay on the beach, the older they get.
Well, that sounds cool.
Like an all-time movie pitch, like an all-time ballsy movie pitch. Like, there's people on this beach, and they stay on it. And the longer they stay on it, the older they get.
I mean,
but it wasn't great.
What else is there?
Knock on the Cabin Door, which I personally did not see, but I did hear it was disappointing.
Yeah, I also heard that. That was the one where they tried to like market it with like Harden and Doc Rivers, right?
Well, Batista's in it,
but they had a specific like Sixers centric one.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure. Yeah, and Dave Batista's in it, so yeah, that one I heard was not great, but yeah, his last really good movie was Split. Like that movie was just definitively great. I haven't
watched any of those, any of the ones in that universe. Maybe that's what I should do for homework.
Unbreakable, Split, Glass.
That's the one. Glass.
But Unbreakable is great. Unbreakable is actually low key maybe my favorite Shyamalan movie. I love that movie so much.
I was trying to think of all those movies with someone. I think it might have been a friend of the show, Max. And we got Unbreakable and Split. We couldn't think of Glass, like to save our lives. So thank you for that.
Yeah, Glass was meh, but yeah, Trap was good. And I mean, the winner of that movie by far is Josh Hartnett. He's great, and I haven't seen him. I mean, he's a guy that like as soon as I saw him, I was like, oh, I know this actor. He hasn't been in a lot recently. I hope he is in more after this. I hope he plays more roles like this. Like he plays a very good psychopath, for better or for worse. But you know, in this case, it was for better. So yeah, Trap was great. Well, not great. Sorry, Trap was entertaining. Entertaining first hour. I would say great first hour, and then the last 20 to 30 minutes kind of derailed it a bit. So yeah. It took it from like what could have been like an 8.5 to a 9 to like a 6.5 to a 7. So
that's brutal.
Yeah.
Shoot.
Yeah, you're a ratings guy, you know.
Yeah. All right, so we've talked about some of the movies that we've watched over the last couple of months, weeks, days, I guess, hours in some cases.
All of them.
I literally watched Reservoir Dogs 4 hours ago. So
that's awesome. I'm very jealous, actually.
Yeah, it was that was a movie that I remember you playing in our freshman year dorm, and I think I got there maybe like with half an hour to the end. I didn't know what the fuck was going on, so I'm like, I'm just gonna not.
I'm pretty sure that's Tarantino's first movie.
Yeah, I'm glad I watched it.
Banger.
But on the TV side, I've got a couple of shows that I watched. I know that we typically run through a lot of anime in these episodes with just you and me, so I'm not gonna really touch on these too much, but I did watch Don't Toy With Me, Miss Nagatoro.
Based off my recommendation.
Long-standing recommendation from Ryan.
Yes, sir.
I thought it was cute. It's one of the ones that made me like scream at the TV, like, just tell him.
I know.
Tell him. Or like, just tell her.
It's frustrating. But
oh my God. It was basically 2 entire seasons of that. I'm like, son of a bitch.
Yeah.
But what I wrote down was the first season was better than the second season. I think the second season just didn't have as many 1v1s. 1v1 situations.
It didn't actually. You're right. Now that I think back on it.
Yeah, so I think that's why it lost some points for me there. Another one I was pretty excited about is The Dangers in My Heart. I was really looking forward to watching this, just because I think at the time that I started watching it, the second season was airing, and people were just hyping it up all over the internet. I thought the first season was okay. There was another anime that I mentioned in a previous episode, Tsukigakure. That was about the kids that were in middle school, like trying to figure out their first crush.
Oh yeah.
And this is pretty much exactly the same type of feeling, at least for me. It showed, at least in my opinion, pretty spot on, like what it's like to unknowingly develop a crush on someone in middle school when you're also in middle school. Holy shit, I need to clear that sentence needs to have some context.
I mean, wow. Listen, I understood what you were saying.
But the one thing that I didn't like was also one of the things that made the male MC a little bit more believable as a middle schooler, which is like the first couple episodes, he's like super edgelord, like, yeah, no one cares about me, like I could never love a girl.
Yeah.
He's like, oh, she's so popular and pretty, like I'm gonna unalive her. And like that is how the series starts. And
damn,
that's a romance anime, so like it doesn't go that way, but
must be some arc.
I was like, oh, god dang. But then that's pretty much dropped after the first like couple episodes. Once he realizes like, oh no, that's not what this is. So that was nice. I think I also connected with the main character a little bit, just because like he's an awkward middle schooler that is very tiny, in the same way that I was an awkward middle schooler who was very tiny.
You were very tiny.
I was 4'11" until I was 16, I think. Until like literally junior or sophomore year.
Dude, your growth spurt was crazy. You were like a different person.
I am, yes. But oh gosh, like I just used to be that small, and like me yelling at my TV, I'm like, damn, I wonder what like today Derick would be yelling at 14-year-old Derick, like if he could.
It's gonna be okay. You're gonna get bigger. You're gonna get bigger. You're gonna get a lot bigger. Everywhere.
So yeah, sometimes I still say that, just in case. Everywhere. Please, God, everywhere.
Be proportioned, please.
Another one that I watch is Clannad. This is from 2007, and this is apparently considered one of like the classics. It's on like a bunch of best of lists. I think the one that I looked up right before I record, it was like number 45 on the top 100 list. And like being on a list at all should be like enough to get me to watch it. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But the first season of this, and I think these are like 25 episode seasons or something like that. Let me double check that and make sure I'm not immediately lying through my teeth. First season was 23 episodes. Then there's a movie. Second season's 24 episodes, and then 2 more specials. So there was a lot to get through. That's like, what, 50 something episodes in a movie?
But as we know, that's light work for you.
Light work, no reaction. Yeah, how okay, let's see. I started the first season on July 25th and finished the last season on the 31st. Okay, 6 days. That's okay. There was some
less than a week, baby.
Yeah, there was some heavy lifting going on, I guess.
It's damn impressive.
Yeah, that first season, 23 episodes, it just really didn't do much for me. It was like,
man,
a weird mix of like supernatural and slice of life. And then once the supernatural part went away, there wasn't really, like, you never really went back to that until the end of the second season. Like, I get that, like, it could be satisfying to have like a loose thread somewhere, and then at the end of the series you wrap it up. But like, it was 10 episodes, and then 35 episodes in between, and then it comes back at the end. It just wasn't for me, I don't think.
That's interesting. I feel like a supernatural aspect, if that's going to be a major aspect of your show or movie, it's got to be consistent. You can't just like abandon it and then just have like, oh, normal things, and then that like, comes back.
There were 2 supernatural things kind of going on. One of them was like, oh, we heard rumors of a ghost girl in the school, and like it turns out they know who it was, and like they figure out kind of what's going on there, but they kind of remember it and they kind of don't, just because of the whole supernatural thing. And then other than that, it's just basically like normal slice of life anime.
Okay, well, but I'm guessing the slice of life aspect wasn't strong enough.
Yeah,
didn't hold its own weight.
It was okay. The supernatural part, they had like a prologue and then basically an epilogue for every episode of like what's going on in this other like empty world. And then in the second season, they finally like let you know what the fuck is going on. It's kind of like in Suzume, where they're like, where did she get this chair? And like at the end of it, they're like, oh, she got the chair from her, who got the chair from her, who got the chair from her.
Yeah, and that's exactly what happened.
The second season was a lot better. The first half had a lot of great plot in it, and then the second half just kind of went off the fucking rails. Like the pacing was hyper speed. Like they were in school, and then suddenly it cuts to like graduation, and we don't even see the ceremony, and then suddenly they're outside graduation talking, and then suddenly they're grown up. I'm like, what?
Okay, Jesus, that's jarring.
In like the span of 5 minutes, I'm like, what is happening? So
I was gonna say, because like a lot of school animes that take place at a school, like they go through semesters in like a couple episodes.
Oh yeah,
it's like the school's starting, and now it's winter break. It's been 3 episodes.
Yeah,
that's a lot of time.
It felt like they knew that after the second season that was it. So it's like they wanted to adapt as much of the manga as they could in the last like 10 episodes. That's what it feels like to me. Again, I've fucking no idea. But this one had so much potential. I'm just a little bit disappointed in it. And
they can all be winners.
The cream of the crop, the one that I actually think that we can talk about. This is something that we talked about for a little bit, and I don't think you know that I've been quietly grinding away at, but I've been watching Haikyu.
Oh shit!
A lot.
Nice. No, I didn't know you had kept up with it. That's sick.
Yeah. We watched the first episode together a couple weeks ago.
Yeah.
When we also did that Miss Koizumi Loves Ramen.
While eating ramen. Yeah.
And I'm like, yes. Like at some point I will get to this. I had some other stuff to get through, and the stars aligned. There was an open slot in my rotation, and
an open slot.
Haikyu just kind of dropped right in it. For background as to why I didn't watch Haikyu, this is another one of my roundabout stories. In 20,000, that's not right. In 2015, I started playing Rocket League.
Wow.
Bear with me here. With friend of the show, Petron. And back then, it was either that or like CSGO, right? That was the don't have to think game. And then CS was the think game. And at some point we were playing Rocket League together, and our other Counter-Strike buddy joined Discord, and we're like, oh yeah, dude, come play Rocket League. It's sick. And I remember him saying like, it's just car soccer. And then like we got him to start playing.
It's just car
and
soccer.
Then suddenly like it clicked with him, and like it changed from it's just car soccer to it's just car soccer.
It's brilliant.
I felt the same way with Haikyu. For a while, I'm like,
it's just
I'm pretty sure I avoided it because I'm like, it's going to be like all volleyball. Then I started watching it, and I'm through 2 seasons now, which I guess is like 20 something, 40 something episodes or something like that.
I think the first season's 13, and then the second season jumps up to 20 something.
First season's 25.
Oh, I fucked up. Never mind. I was wrong.
The second season I think is 20 something, and then the third season's 10 episodes. So I'm right before that 10 episode season, and now that I'm 2 seasons deep, instead of like it's gonna be like all volleyball, I'm like it's gonna be like all volleyball.
Yeah. Dude,
what I thought was going to be its weakness is its strength. There's no there's no school drama really. There's maybe an episode where they have to take their tests or whatever the fuck, but it's all about the volleyball all the time.
Yeah, at the end of the day, it just comes back to volleyball.
There was an entire episode that I just watched that was devoted to like 3 points.
Yeah.
30 minutes.
That happens a lot in that show.
Yeah, and I am here for it. So I am sure that by the next episode, I will have finished Haikyu.
Dude, that's amazing. I'm thrilled for you. That makes me so happy. Yeah, that show is phenomenal. That was another show I watched during COVID, and yeah, I think I talked briefly about this during one of our other anime episodes, but Hinata is just like one of my favorite MCs ever. because the whole thing is just he loves volleyball, but he's short, which isn't optimal for a volleyball player. But the boy can jump, and he's got the heart of a lion, and he wants the sheer fucking will, as John Wick would say, or as someone would say about John Wick. Yeah, he just the will and determination to win and compete, and yeah, and then just and also be like the sweetest kid on earth.
Yeah, I love that. I'm a sucker for when people are just like nice all the time, like Tanjiro, like Hinata.
Yeah, but it's very shonen. But like the fact that it's a sports anime and he's short, it just resonates with me because I'm short and I've played sports.
Play sports, yeah.
So yeah, I felt what it's been like. Or I know what it feels like to be an underdog in that setting, and it resonates with me. I love him so much.
I love him so much. The small boy, the small volleyball boy.
Do you have a favorite character so far?
Favorite character? Not really. I've been thinking about most pick-upable character because, as I do. I think that's got to be the new manager. What's her name?
Yeah, I don't know her name, but
Hitoka, right? Yeah, Hitoka.
But there's not a lot of female characters in that show.
Yeah, I think that in season 1, most pick-upable character was Hinata, the tall guy Tsukishima. His friend Yamaguchi, the one that does the jump float serve.
Yeah,
I think he's got to be the most pick-upable character. Has to be season 1.
Yeah,
it could be Kyoko, the first manager, which I will not knock. However, Yamaguchi always calls Tsukishima Suki, and he's always like, "Oh, good job, Suki," and I'm like, "This guy,
dude,
this guy fucking gets it." Fucking give me those cheeks. Let me pinch him.
Yeah, Suki is a much more pick-upable character name. Yeah, that show's great. The characters are what makes it for me. Like the volleyball action's fantastic, but it's just the characters and then just their interplay with each other, and they all have everyone has an arc.
Yeah,
some are smaller than others, but everyone develops throughout the show, and it's just it's beautiful.
Yeah, it's cool.
I'm excited for you to finish it.
Yeah, but I've basically cleared my chamber with that. So you got the rest of the episode, bud.
Damn.
What you got for me?
All right. So I got 2 shows I can talk about. I'll start with one, the most recent one, but also the most recent one that just was airing live, and that was House of the Dragon. Season 2.
Okay.
House of the Dragon season 2. So House of the Dragon season 1 was great, truly great. It brought me back to the prime years of Game of Thrones, like basically anything before season 7. Mm-hmm. Even though season 7 is not bad, but anything before that. It felt like peak Game of Thrones again, and the characters are all great. The performances are incredible in season 1, just really good. And obviously, people always want more dragon action, and you get a lot of dragon action in this show. But season 2 had high hopes. And it was not as good as season 1. It's not terrible, just not as good as season 1, for me at least.
What made season 1 so great?
It just felt like again, it just felt like peak Game of Thrones. Like there's a lot of plotting, the high stakes action, like the way it was shot and everything, and just the set pieces, and the overall performances, like the actors' performances were really good. Most notably Matt Smith, who you might know as Doctor Who, or one of the Doctor Who's.
The Doctor. He
plays Daemon, who's a Targaryen in the show, and his character is great. And then there's another, I'm going to blank on this guy's name, but the guy who plays the king in the first season, Viserys, also great. But yeah, season 2, just, it didn't finish strongly. It's basically all a setup for season 3. And not to say there wasn't greatness in season 2. Like there was some greatness. Like there were some episodes that rivaled some of the best episodes in Game of Thrones. and there's a lot more. I would say there's a lot more dragon action in this show, and the CGI for the dragons went fucking hard. Like the dragons look incredible.
Oh fuck yeah!
There was an episode in particular. I think it was episode 7, so the pre-ultimate episode, which was primarily dragon scenes, which I can't imagine how expensive that episode was to shoot, but also it was just so good. And the people were clamoring for more dragon action, and they got it in the season. It's just the final episode was basically all set up for season 3, and we have to wait 2 years for season 3.
Oh, that's a little bit painful.
Yeah, I kind of wish they had just ended it with the episode prior.
Yeah.
Or better yet, George R.R. Martin, who wrote all the Game of Thrones books, wrote the book that House of the Dragon's based off of.
Air quotes around wrote and all.
Yeah, exactly. Well, he's getting there. He had said that the full story of House of the Dragon would be best adapted 4 seasons of 10 episodes each. For whatever reason, they only decided to do 8 episodes this season. Not sure if it was for budget or whatever, but
I just wanted to fucking stick it to him.
I don't know, but this season definitely could have used at least one more episode, at least. But just go 10. Like, it doesn't make any sense. Why would you not do 10?
Right.
People, I mean, but what's coming in season 3 is going to be outrageous. It's going to be awesome, and I don't know the story. I haven't read the books, but it's the trajectory it's on right now. It's like it's going to be balls to the wall action and just craziness in season 3. So I'm excited for that. We set to wait 2 years. So it's going to be a long wait.
That's so far away though.
Yeah, I know. And then also, as I mentioned Damon from season 1. Was not a fan of how they treated him this season. I thought his arc was like the arc itself was decent and it had a good payoff at the end, but I don't know. Just they basically took him out of the main story, placed him somewhere for most of the season, and just like I don't know. I was not a fan of the scenes that he was in. It was a very boring sort of side quest he was on.
That's disappointing. Yeah.
Yeah, but at least the payoff itself was decent, so it wasn't a complete waste. But yeah, I would have rather of him been elsewhere and more in like the primary story, actually doing things important. Anyway, so yeah, House of the Dragon season 2, good, not great, not nearly as good as season 1, but I'm very excited for season 3. Just gotta wait 2 weeks. 2 years.
Sounds like I have 2 years to watch 2 seasons of House of the Dragon.
You do.
Nice. I'll just do one every quarter.
That'll work.
I think that's how it works.
Well, no, is that math? I don't know if that maths. I'm not good at math, but it doesn't sound like it maths. Might have to double it up to 2 a quarter. And the other show that I just finished, and you're aware of it because I was telling you about it, Bocchi the Rock, which
nice. Yes,
is the anime you showed me, and I continued watching on my own, and it was really good. I really liked it.
It's fun. It's cute. It's wholesome.
It was sweet.
It's music.
Yeah, it had all that. I was actually not disappointed, but intrigued on the lack of music in the show because there's really only 2 main scenes where they're singing together.
Yeah, I was going to bring that up when we were watching it the first time because I'm pretty sure when they go up for the first gig, they like play the first chord and then it skips to the last chord like they're already done. I'm like, ooh, that might not be fun for some people. Maybe they pick it up later.
And even the last big show they play, they show the first song, which was good. Then they show, I don't know if they showed the entire. They played 3 songs. They only showed like a song and a half. They didn't even show the third song. Yeah, I would have just rather the whole episode been just them playing, because that's what the whole buildup of the season. I mean, the story is about Bocchi, and she's coming out of her shell because she's got debilitating social anxiety, and the whole story is basically just her becoming more comfortable with this group of misfits that she's come across, and this band that they have together. That's the one thing in life that she wants more than anything, is to have a band with friends. And I wanted that payoff and I don't feel like I got that payoff really. Like I kind of did a little bit, but she's still like the same person. You can tell she's gotten a little better, but she
broke out a little bit, was able to do her solos better.
Yeah. But I wanted that payoff at the end where they play that that big show, that final show, and like the last scene is them just like getting a huge round of applause, and I don't know. We kind of got that, but not really. I wanted more. I wish they should have really showed the last song. Like, come on, give us more music. But yeah, other than that, it was just it was a really cute, wholesome show, and I liked all the characters. Man, I think I don't know who was my favorite. I think I really
almost no wrong answers.
I know. I really did enjoy. I forget her name, but the other girl that comes in like a couple episodes in, the one that has the drinking problem.
Oh yeah, Hiroi-san.
I think so. Yeah. She was cool.
She is cool.
Yeah, she was fun, and then Ryu, the blue hair girl,
the bass player,
who's dirt broke and weird and never pays people back for things they pay for.
That part is so fucking funny though.
She just freeloads off everybody.
It's great. That's like, okay, I love her too.
But yeah, there's a great group of characters, and I wish the older sister was in a little more, like the one who runs the cafe where they work at and play at.
Yeah. She's the first one who realizes she's Guitar Hero, right?
I don't know if it's... No, I don't think it's her. I think it's... Well, no. Maybe she did, but doesn't
Nijika definitely knows. She confronts her about it later. Right?
Okay. Maybe. I thought it was... Nijika. Was that her name? However you say it? Yeah, she brings it up like later in the season, like maybe there's 12 episodes, like episode 7 or 8.
Yeah,
it's like, oh, you're Guitar Hero, aren't you?
Yeah.
I was also thinking that was going to be more of a payoff, like that was going to be a bigger deal.
Well,
because she's supposed to be like this, like the most popular like guitar solo player on YouTube.
Yeah.
Right, and that realization that they finally going in, I'm like, okay, well, they don't know that she's Guitar Hero. Like that's going to be a big storyline later when they realize that she's Guitar Hero. However, they find out, and then ended up really not being a big deal. But maybe that was the point. Maybe that was.
I think it's also. I still think it's only both of the sisters that know about Guitar Hero. Right? She didn't tell the band.
No, I don't think she's. I don't
figure it out.
Yeah, that's true. So maybe the other shoe will drop. And then maybe all the fans, or maybe people will find out, like the general public finds out that she's Guitar Hero and they get more of a following that way. Who knows?
That'll be fun.
Anyway, I'm excited for season 2 whenever that comes out. Hopefully they actually have more music scenes.
Yeah, I would love nothing more than that.
Yeah. Oh, and also I got to talk a minute or two about the animation. The show is beautiful. It's gorgeous to look at. I love like the blend of 3D animation and 2D. Everything just looks so pristine and vibrant and just shiny. Everything just looks looks shiny. It's a pristine looking anime, and they really get creative with like a lot of the editing choices and a lot of they take a lot of creative license with some of the animation in the show, and I was a big fan of it, especially when like Bocchi is being like when she gets really anxious. Like I liked the depiction of that in the show.
I like the animation style switches to like basically like crayon.
Yeah, it was like there's like stop motion at one point. I don't know. It got a little crazy in some parts, but I was for it. And also just like some of the camera shots, like there were some fisheye shots, there were some other cool things they did with the camera that just made it pop. And yeah, I that was probably my favorite part of the show, honestly, was just looking at it. Just the visual treat that I was getting. And also, as I sent you a couple pictures of, there are 2 specific Dragon Ball Z references in this anime that I was not expecting, and I was so happy to see. The Yamcha one right away, I was like, that's the Yamcha pose. That's the iconic.
Did you immediately just bust out laughing when you saw it?
Dude, I was like, what the fuck? It's so random. It was perfect. I sent it to you, and then there's the other one where she is like powering up and going like Super Saiyan 2. I'm like, oh, this is sick. I actually just want Dragon Ball Z reimagined in this animation style because it looks incredible.
I just looked at the Yamcha one again, dude. It's so good.
It's hilarious. It's iconic. It's crazy to think that like that particular shot from Dragon Ball Z is so iconic that anybody could be laying in that pose and you're just like, that's Yamcha.
just somebody laying in a divot somewhere.
Yeah,
exactly like that. You're like, oh, I know what that is.
It's or better known as the optimal sleeping position. Man, but yeah, no, Bocchi the Rock was a lot of fun, and I appreciate you recommending it. I did enjoy it.
Yeah, really I appreciate your analysis. I feel like you're really good at like thinking more about the media that you consume, or at least like the I don't want to say logistics, but like, you know, for movies, you're focused on acting and directing, the writing of the script and stuff like that. And I'm just like, damn, I wish it got out of the cafe a little bit earlier. Good movie, 7 out of 10.
Well, hey, we compliment each other well.
That's just who I am, I guess.
Well, hey, because like, I mean, a show could be shitty or a movie can be shitty, but it can still be fun to watch or look at. You know, there can still be some positives. I'm always trying to look for positives in life. That's just my philosophy in life. I'm just always looking for positives. So, I like you know, that. even in Trapper, I'm like, okay, the second half kind of sucked. First half was really good though, and the lead, and you know, Josh Hartnett killed it as the lead.
Yeah, I think I just need to learn to better appreciate things, but that'll only come with time, really.
I love you.
I love you too. And you can love us on Instagram. We're at 5 o'clock sweats. Did not hit that as clean as I wanted.
Oh,
we're
man,
also
so
on
good,
X at 5 o'clock sweats. We're on YouTube in video form and in audio form on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, or wherever you get those dang things. Anything else?
No, I'm Gucci.
Well, there we have it. That's what we've been up to. Let us know. Let us comments down in comments. Let us do it.
Yeah, write something on your keyboard. Type something on your keyboard.
Write it to us. We
write it. We'll read it.
A guy lolled the other day. Did you see that?
Oh, I did see that. Yeah, he did loll.
It's pretty good.
I hope it was a real life lol too. I hope he like actually was, or I hope they were actually laughing in real life.
It feels right.
You know what also feels right?
Is it the outro?
Yeah.
There was no way for me. You know what also feels right?
I wanted to.
Always,
yeah.
Stay sweaty.
Stay sweaty. I was trying to transition to that specifically, but I don't have the creativity.
The English didn't. The English didn't English good there.
Yeah, I got to get rid of that English diploma back there. Gotta get rid of that.
Fuck.
Hope no one sees it.